If you love me, let me get your body.
God dog, man.
Goddamn, nigga, got Diddy.
Yeah, got
I
Diddy.
used to live.
My nigga then got Diddy. So before we can get into this whole story, man, we gotta get into a few key points of what the main theory is about what's going on here. And for the most part, it's just a soft. This is basically a soft lynching. So we can go ahead and start with 50 Cent. All right, so we're gonna start here. We're gonna make sure that the sound is on. Oh, sounds not even working somehow. Wanna be a baller? All right, here we go. I guess not. Hold on. Hold on there.
Media, 50 Cent shared what he called a letter to the judge, in which he urged that Diddy's potential danger to the public be taken into account. In the post, he also referenced his own long-standing fear for his safety, suggesting that his concerns should influence the court's decision. Rapper 50 Cent intensified his years-long feud with Sean Diddy Combs by mocking him just days before Diddy's sentencing. On social media, 50 Cent shared what he called a letter to the judge, in which he urged that Diddy's potential danger to the public be...
Now, all jokes aside, we gotta go ahead. Yo, 50 is different, bro. I think 50 is different. Let's play it again.
Taken into account. In the post, he also referenced his own long-standing fear for his safety, suggesting that his concerns should influence the court's decision. Rapper 50 Cent...
Now, who knows if this was the killing blow? Because honestly, real talk, this is just one big humiliation ritual. I think for what I'm going to mainly be getting into is you cannot have a prosperous life. Young nigga, stop wasting your time. If you can hear me, if your ears work, listen to me. Piper Boy Williams' voice. Pause. Sorry, bar. You got Piper Boy in your name. You are a good man, but you have Piper Boy as a name and as a handle. So I always gotta pause you, bro. The Paul Hall of Fame exists because of you. But anyway, listen to me. You will not have long-term prosperity if you do not go about life the way and you do not live righteously. One of the things you can't do, one of the main things that will always destroy men is the things they basically what sexual desires they give into and how much of your life do you do based around pleasure and what gives you pleasure. And I think to a certain degree, it really seems as though this to keep it a stack, getting into this whole case, right, and getting into the personal life and just having these rumors be confirmed about Diddy, you do have to have a certain, not to say a psychotic nature, but you do have to have it about you where you don't give a F. The one of and we gotta learn from this too, because we got to really see, okay, wow, so a lot of this stuff is true. So this guy, like we were seeing Diddy actually hitting Cassie. That really shined a whole new light on who he actually is, and it gave a new context. It's a different thing when someone tells a story about, hey, he put his hands on me, but to watch him grab her, throw her to the floor, and stomp her and whatnot, right? It reminds me of what I heard in that new interview with old boy who's saying that Stephon Diggs made a, I think his name is I think Chris Blake. Chris Blake, all right, and he basically made these allegations about how he had not a sexual encounter with Stephon Diggs, but Stephon Diggs tried him. And after that, being as though he didn't give into his advances, he was saying that his life had been threatened and he's been, he had confrontations and he's basically in fear of his life. And he's saying, well, this all is stemming from the fact that I didn't give into his advances one night, and allegedly there was some tongue and ear action. Nasty work, bro. I'm trying to tell y'all. That's why black men can't be getting their hair braided. Yo, if you a black man getting your hair braided, trouble will soon come. Trouble is going to come for you. Trouble will find you. All right? All niggas with dreads, all black people who got dreads be wilding, and all black men who got braids always getting into some shit. You know what I mean? It's something about it. The best thing for all black men is to wear your hair low. All right? Or maybe a short fro, little curls and whatnot. Also, you floppy curl ass niggas. I'm like, fam, y'all are becoming more and more like bad bitches. Do you realize, bro, you're wearing a bang. If your dreads is covering out, I'm like my nigga, you have grown your hair into where you have bangs now, like a bitch. Sorry to go off on a tangent and whatnot, but anywho, also want to speak on, pardon me. The way that 50 is treating Diddy, this is based on what the world really is, though. First and foremost, we do have to look at the intention. Diddy did used to deal with his baby mother. All right, so they're Eskimo brothers. So you got to realize that when people get to a certain level, and I'm also gonna make reference to how Diddy was attacking Cassie. When you get to a certain level, you live in a different reality, right? What's possible for you is not possible for other people. Even in my like my small success of life, because I always see myself as a success because I'm in touch with and I see and I'm around people who have way less than me. You know what I mean? So I was gonna understand. All right, I say out of gratitude because in my mind I never look at it as this is how it's supposed to be. I look at it as like, yo, I waited a long time for this. Like something I'm always proud of. I always remind myself of because like, listen, you need to be encouraged at all times. So I always remind myself of like how far I came. Pause, or maybe not. But how far I've come along in life. Oh, pause again. How far along I've come in life. Even thinking about the fact that, yo, listen, I didn't get my own spot by myself until I was 33 years old, right? But since then, I managed to stay on my own. I haven't gone back, or I haven't had to go back like career wise either. I mean, I almost did, and not that that's a bad thing, but it's really important to me to be able to keep going forward. But anyway, but going back to what we were saying, I just had to touch on the softness of you niggas. But anyway, so intention is everything. Who's speaking on something is everything. Okay, so 50. Every chance he get, if you a op, that nigga will go at you online. That nigga trolled Diddy through a letter to the judge. This is, I'm like, God damn, he can't stand this nigga. And the thing about Diddy and 50 is that throughout the years, Diddy and 50 seem to have a relationship where they was cool. Up until like the last 5 years or so, you know what I mean? Because and 50 was saying, yo, they used to kick it on the phone and used to talk a lot. You understand? And then somehow, they had a falling out. But it always seems as though these guys fall out over a girl. But also too, when you get to that level, you have a hard time dealing with not getting what you want. Like those kind of people, like they don't experience not getting a thing they want. The main thing that men, that's why, listen, shout out to CGA. The free agent lifestyle frees you of all this shit. You know what I mean? Especially if given the circumstances, if the circumstances are not there for you to be successful in romance, right? Or successful in the way that you would like to. So for the most part, most men want to have a relationship where they are the sensitive. Well, you should want to have a relationship where she's focused on you. Like one thing that I always credit my ex is that she gave me a lot of like confidence to know that the way I want to do things is good, and the way I am is good, and the way I am brings out the best in the woman, right? And so I would have affirmations in a relationship, you know what I mean? So I would say stuff like, tell me that you focused on me, and I encourage men, you have to put certain words in her mouth, and tell and lead. You lead it on every level. All right, you set the tone on every level, and that's one thing I hear with men that I think aren't as in tune with their leadership skills, because you have men who are masculine in terms of they seem as though they will be violent. Because for the most part, that's what black men think like masculine is. It's just you will be violent, okay? Or you will be violent, or you will have sex. And like, no, it's way more than that. A lot of it has to do with your decision making. A lot of it has to do with how much you want to put into your word. A lot of it has to do with your honor, your bravery. Like you can't even have bravery without testosterone. Like one of the reasons why I want to kind of abstain from so many different things is because I felt like my testosterone was coming down and my warrior spirit wasn't there. Like my will to fight wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? Like the way that it should be. You understand? So anywho, so I thought that was just crazy. Like, yo, the Diddy. Sorry, that 50 actually wrote a letter to the judge. And they he posted this shit online. This nigga's crazy. You know what I'm saying? This
Man, fuck. Fuck all y'all pussies, man. For real, man. I see y'all boys outside when I see y'all, man. For real, man. On some real shit outside, some body shit, man. I'm gonna see y'all boys when I see y'all, man. For real, you know, I got hope.
Nigga, he on that type of time. But anywho, so I wanted to get into that. Let's see what else we got, man. What we got? I want to play these two videos, man, in reference to what may have set this off, right? So it's been spoken on before that Diddy was trying to sue the people who basically helped him do Ciroc. So Ciroc isn't a thing that he owned by himself, but when him owning Ciroc or owning part of the stock or ownership of Ciroc, right? That's what made Diddy or pushed Diddy into billionaire status. And you'll hear the content creator speaking on this in the video. So you've heard me say earlier that I think this was a soft lynching. Obviously, Diddy has enough money if he's a billionaire, right? I'm not sure if he had to give those stocks back. I'm not sure. But Diddy is obviously going to be set for life, right? When Diddy gets out of jail, money's not going to be an issue, all right? But the idea is that your image, people finally got to have a confirmation of what you were into. Like, for the most part, this trial was almost like let's say you had like a someone going to blackmail you with things that a PI got from them, right? This trial was basically like, well, let me make this so big. This trial was basically like an expose, because it seemed a lot like, all right, we know we're not really going to convict you on what you should be convicted on, or we're not really trying to put you away forever. But the idea is that, yo, when you fuck with the kind of people who can make you a billionaire, at that level of income, you can't probably effectively use the law against someone. All right, you can call in favors. All right, because the trial of Diddy it's such a weird trial because it's so unclear what it's about. Because at the beginning of the trial, they were like, this is a mountain of charges, like, you know. But the biggest thing, the most confusing one, and the only one they kind of can somewhat prove was basically this ambiguous charge about sex trafficking. And the guy did, all right, well, now again, in my mind, and I don't know if I'm tripping or not, sex trafficking was supposed to be forced prostitution or someone, like, I always think about the movie Taken. And this girl getting kidnapped in another country, and her dad just so happened to be just the biggest badass of all time. You know what I'm saying? Like, you be tougher than 10 Russians. You know how Hercules was stronger than 10 men? Liam Neeson and white men who fit this archetype are tougher than 10 Russians. That ninja was tougher than 10 Russians. He came in there kicking ass. And my daughter, if I had a daughter, if my sister got jammed up in a different country, man, I should call her right now and let her know. If she was ever in a scenario such as Taken, you're fucked. I can't do nothing. I can't do nothing.
Fuck. Well,
I can't nothing about
abiding citizen. Bitch, I've been trapping. I'm like 5th generation trapper, you fucking.
You feel me?
Completely destroy Sean Puffy Combs publicly and financially, because this could have very easily been state charges. And as you know, the feds have a 97% conviction rate. Somebody wants Sean Puffy Combs completely destroyed. And I think I know who it is. I believe it is Diego. It is the British-based liquor company that Puffy was.
First of all, nigga, how did you get a camel dashiki camel cap? Like, where do he get these clothes from? Who's giving Dr. Umar clothes? Go ahead, Dr. Umar. You want a point for once? Go ahead.
Doing business with. They're one of the biggest liquor companies in the world. They market and sell some of the most popular brands of liquor, including Ciroc. And Diddy had an agreement with them where they would help him market his daily owned tequila brand. Diego got upset with Puff. They said, you had already made $1 billion off of us. How dare you sue us and try to make a few more billion off of us? Diego and Puff settled out of court in January. Puffy's homes are raided in March. They want to completely destroy Sean Puffy Combs publicly and financially, because this could have very easily been state charges. And as you know, the feds have a 97% conviction rate. Somebody wants Sean Puffy Combs completely destroyed.
So I want to let it rock one more time, but what we're trying to get to is the case for what really happened here. What you're seeing right now is that ball shit, right? This is a whole different level. What you're listening to is, this is how much money can do for you. This is how much. It's people who still want to make the argument of money's not everything. Nigga, it's literally everything. Because it gives you that kind of power. All right, the level these people are playing at, yo, they was able to get Diddy raided. And real talk, now mind you, usually when it's this high profile of a case, there is something that happened. There's some major event that happened. Like for example, we're gonna get into later this thing with the D4vid dude, right? The reason why we know more about David or we're hearing about David is because there's a clear crime that you can see what the crime is. The crime is that this girl was missing and she turns up decomposed and she basically who don't been sleeping in his car for how long now. What's really weird about that case is that young man is not in jail and I'm not really sure why, but we're going to get into that. But again, what we're looking at is karma working itself out one way or another. And we're going to get into all the crimes, all the fallacies, everything that comes along with the curse of Sean Diddy Combs, the curse of Bad Boy, all right? And all the deaths that surround Diddy. As if there was sacrifices almost. Now, I'm not really that big on conspiracy theory, but goddamn, hold on. I said what?
Goddamn, God Diddy.
Yeah, God Diddy. All right, I'm just saying.
Am I your baby?
Baby girl. On this channel, I talk to y'all about power because I want you guys to understand what it takes to really make things move, what it takes to make things shake. When you think about Diddy, right, you think about pretty much the pinnacle of black wealth. Diddy, in terms of being a nigga from the hood or a nigga that's not from a rich family, the level of success that he's reached or the amount of wealth that he's amassed by himself and the fact that throughout the years, even all the way into 2025, not many people who are on the hip-hop scene or involved in music and as early as the early 90s has been living like Puff has been living like a super rich nigga for a super long time. Okay, and then you got to see how long Puff's paper really was when we saw this whole case. Again, the case was more so about letting people into the personal details of your life, letting people into the personal dynamics of you and Cassie's relationship and what you're really into. It was never about really putting him away for good. Because as you can see, it said 40 months. So he's already served, let's say he served 14 months already. So that leaves about 36 months. So that's about really 3 years. But they keep saying 4. Maybe I'm wrong, right? But anywho, I wanted to make note of that because I always want y'all to look at who's really running things, right? And how the world actually works. And especially when it comes to black men. So we even seen the same thing happen with Drake and UMG. There's always a dynamic that has to be kept. Well, one part of like leadership and one part of keeping an operation going a certain way is maintaining a certain dynamic. And when it comes to like say artists, but really anything with black people or black men going to the next level, it seems to be a common theme that one way or another, these black men, no matter how high up they go, they wind up in a position where it's almost like the powers that be will come and discipline them, like i.e. Jonathan Majors. That is one of the craziest cases ever. The way that man was lynched and lost everything overnight. And Jonathan Majors is not really multi-talented. You know what I'm saying? He hasn't caught on to the fact that, boy, you better do something else. You understand? Kanye, they tried to lynch Kanye. Kanye lost all his stocks in Adidas. That's what made him the billionaire. All right? Lynched him. Taking away a man's ability to eat is akin to killing him. Shout out to Dave Chappelle. That's something I got from him that I think he got from someone else. Accountability. Accountability. Accountability.
Girl.
That was good, though. Peace, man. Kick rocks. I know. Whatever. Done, M54, man. Man, come on, man.
Where you gonna go when we start revolution? Whose side are you gonna be on? Are you still gonna be on your knees begging?
Hold on, I want to play another video. One with Eddie Griffin this time. Where is that? I'll be forgetting Eddie Griffin be making content.
You should have never sued the liquor company. That's where you f***ed up.
You have white-only business, and you have black-only business. My fight is to always make sure that we can just do business. I want to be treated equally.
I don't give a about to tear it up goes. You f***ed up when you sued the liquor company, because the liquor company is owned by the biggest conglomerate on earth, the BlackRock people.
First of all, corporate America is made and built for white men.
You was making money with Ciroc. Just shut the f*** up.
Diddy's attorney released a statement that said Diageo's attempting to end his deals with Combs is like firing a whistleblower who calls out racism.
There was zero agave planted for DeLeon. So there was no plan for us to be successful. The other brands, they had agave planted.
He sued the liquor company May 2023. November 2023, Cassie come up with the lawsuit. Cassie got 2 checks. She got a check from the mother liquor company people that put her up to doing this, and she got a check from Puffy to try to keep her quiet. Think! It ain't illegal yet, but they working on it. You should have never sued.
So there you go. You know? There you go. There's that. And what's interesting about that is, like, on one hand, I'm always big on men making sacrifices and standing up for themselves and taking a chance and whatnot. But also at the same time, you always get met with that same kind of critique of, well, you should have never done this, you should have never done that, right? But at the same time, I mean, like, you don't get me wrong, he did have a point, which is why he was able to get paid. But at the same time, like, yo, that dynamic of the white boys always gonna try to whip you. I don't know how to put it, man, but like, yo, like they will really try to get rid of you. They will always get you back. They will always get revenge on you one way or another, and usually that's going to result either in your reputation being ruined, and for the most part, it's the same thing with Drake. One of the reasons why they want this record to be as big as it was is because they understand the importance of programming, the importance of media, and people. It doesn't matter if people believe something or not. If you hear one thing long enough, you start to believe it's true, or it begins to influence you. That's why you can't be around losers. You can't be around negative people. You can't be around people who do not encourage you or think it's important to encourage you. It's important to see the humanity in you. It's important to understand that you are a whole person. It's important to respect your gender. You deal with women a certain kind of way because they are a woman. You deal with a man a certain kind of way because he's a man. It's the only way to have a healthy relationship. I understand. A lot of this feminist mindset stuff I got going on, one of my many truths, one of my commandments is the acknowledgement of the long-term damages of female leadership and the ways of single motherhood, and the long-term impact that it's had on generations of people who keep raising more and more people who have no emotional regulation, no ability to really solve their own problems. Not only that, a need and want for chaos. A part of feminine energy is creating chaos or being addicted to chaos. It's the same thing with men. Men have to bring their logic together with their big head with the little head. That's why when a man is young, women, you will always do better if you get a man when he's younger, because he still has enough testosterone for that to be a guiding factor. I didn't realize when I was younger that a big part of why I was dealing with like my baby mother was because she was so good looking. You know what I mean? And because of the attraction, and I knew that's what it was and everything. But that had a big that was a big factor, one way or another. You understand? So, like I keep saying, I think what's happening with Puff, when they get into the details of the freak offs, I ain't gonna lie, that shit sounded exhausting to listen to. I'm like, what? Baby oil? Having sex for 40 hours, like what's going on, and how do you put this into a calendar? You understand? Anywho, Eddie Griffith made a good point about the whole double dipping thing. So Ciroc gave her a check to go at Puff. So she got paid coming and paid going. Crazy thing is that shit may have cost her marriage. Because if her husband, well, she really should go ahead and divorce her right away, or find a way to get that marriage. Because if he got that marriage, he get half that money. You understand? So anywho, I want to play another video from the videos that I found. Let's react to some more Puffy videos.
Kim's death isn't an isolated incident. Multiple figures close to Diddy and Jay-Z have met untimely ends or faced unexplainable tragedies. From Patrick White to Andre Harrell D, there's a disturbing pattern emerging, one that screams cover-up. And let's not forget Diddy's ex-bodyguard, Gene Dill, who's spoken out about the darker side of the music mogul. Allegations of abuse, manipulation, and betrayal have long haunted Diddy's reputation. Could these rumors hold a kernel of truth? Kim's death isn't an isolated incident. Multiple figures close to Diddy and Jay-Z have met untimely ends or faced unexplainable tragedies. From Kathy White to Andre Harrell to Heavy D, there's a
I want to play one more before we kind of move on from the subject, man. Where is it? I'm not seeing it. Oh, here we go. Oh, here it is, right here.
Flash drives that belonged to the late Kim Porter. And if you follow this story, you'll know that Kim Porter is Diddy's ex-girlfriend and the mother of 4 of his kids. On those drives, the witness says flash drives that belonged to the late Kim Porter.
So I wanted to play this video right here because I think Kim Porter is one of the biggest names, or the name that really started making people think that, all right, it was when she passed away is when people started really putting together that there's a lot of people you've been close to have passed away suddenly. Andre Harrell was one of his first mentors. Okay, one of the people who put him on the path that he was on now, right? In terms of becoming extremely successful, because back in the 90s, Diddy was an A&R. I believe it was Motown and Uptown Records. So he was instrumental in artists like specifically Mary J. Blige and I believe Jodeci. So even as a young person, he was a prodigy when it came to like picking up talent and also helping to build a sound and recognize what a good sound is, and having that ear for production. And Diddy's also instrumental in at least being a part of pushing hip hop forward sonically in terms of being more palatable, right? And being able to reach more audiences. Like for example, the records on No Way Out, a lot of those records were just amazing, huge records, and it made Puff sound like a superstar. You had Victory, right? Sun don't shine forever, but as long as we're here, then we might as well shine together. But will never. But listen, fire verse. You know what I mean? And then you got the posthumous verse from Biggie on there, right? The whole nostalgia thing going on. Then you got Busta coming in for just the outro. We got the real life shit from front to back. You know. So many things going on. So much star power in that album, right? But on that album, it felt like that pause because the production level was so high. The sensibility was so high. The taste level was so high. Pause. Again, goodness gracious. I have to get back to the soundboard. I say, hold on. I'm going to play my sound.
Goddamn, nigga, God Diddy. Lie to me. Stop it.
So anywho, one of the theories was, going back to the Kim Porter thing, was that she had basically videos of basically against the freak-offs. And now, for the most part, like I said before, a big part of this case is exposing the truth. So it's because people never really knew how gay Puff really was. People thought Puff was kind of gay, but we never knew how gay he was. And for the most part, was anyone really surprised? I mean, I wasn't surprised. I don't lie. I've been quite indifferent to the whole trial. I don't care that much. I think it's crazy. I never thought, like, we are living in the end times when Puff Daddy goes to jail and then stays in jail. Like, he's an old nigga. Like, they managed to make him an old nigga in jail. Not only that, he got a jail face. You see his beard? He has a multicolored beard. It's like a brownish gray, like very like real dirty. And another thing too, I feel like they also, the powers that be also wanted Diddy to they want niggas to see what Diddy looks like with no money, right? I'm like, God damn, yo, you are old. Like seeing Diddy like stripped down is crazy, fam. So anywho, when Kim Porter passed away a few years ago, you had people like Jaguar Wright, who is one of those people kind of like Umar, where some of what she's saying, like some of it is based on the truth. So it's like it's based on the truth, but she begins to put spins on it and begins to incorporate theories and maybe kind of give you different perspectives that you maybe haven't thought about. But again, because you don't realize it, or you maybe your sense of self is not that strong, you don't realize she's influencing you. Like you don't necessarily think that's true, or you don't know if it's true, but because you've heard it and you heard a strong opinion, it begins to influence you. So, but here we are now. Here we are now, years later, and yeah. So it might be some truth to it, right? So also bring this up because we see the connection: Heavy D, Andre Harrell, Kim Porter, Notorious Biggie Smalls, who else? Tupac, all these different people, Craig Mack, all these different people, one way or another, karma always comes back around. I remember, I forgot who I heard. I think I heard that. I was listening to Coach, and this was interesting to me how people will say that they don't believe in karma. I think for the most part, what they think of karma is, they think of karma as if I slap someone in the face, then someone is going to come up and slap me in the face. So if they don't, and also people think that you will always be there to see the person's downfall or see the effects, because karma can come in different ways, right? So for example, people feel like, all right, if you were a person who sold crack and everything and you got away with it, that means that karma doesn't exist. But at the same time, you don't know the paranoia the person maybe goes through, the post-traumatic stress that person goes through from what they done been through in the streets, being on the block. Your YouTube shows me reduced to change the said, whatever, y'all. Always telling me this shit. Anywho, what was I saying? So, I forgot I had one more video, man. So I want to play the video on what Diddy's actually being charged with.
Where you gonna go when we start revolution? Who said
There it is.
This morning, Sean Combs is behind bars, sentenced to 4 years in prison for transporting women and male escorts across state lines for prostitution.
We can't even stop now, 'cause it's bad boy for life.
Chill.
For mercy, the judge, I know that I've learned my lesson. But the judge rejected his plea, saying the sentence needed to send a message to abusers and victims alike that exploitation and violence against women is met with real accountability.
It was clear from the judge's remarks that the sentence was driven by the conduct the jury rejected.
Combs was acquitted of sex trafficking and racketeering conspiracy, but federal prosecutors argued he deserved 11 years in prison because he inflicted life-altering violence on women. And they said that physical abuse is on video, pointing to this 2016 hotel surveillance footage depicting Combs attacking Cassie Ventura. How could the judge be blind to that and not punish him for the sum total of his conduct?
Well, the judge was allowed to take that into consideration, but what was clear from the judge's remarks was that he was going way beyond that.
Combs said, I have been humbled and broken to my core, before apologizing to his children and tearfully telling his mother, you raised me better. Is Sean Combs a changed man? You've been with him so long through this entire year-long prosecution.
I can say from the bottom of my heart, more than I think anybody else truly on this team can say, that he is a changed man.
How do you?
The defense played an 11-minute documentary-style video showing Combs as a doting father and a philanthropist. The judge acknowledged his impressive career and commendable charity work, but imposed the 4-year sentence, saying a history of good works can't wash away the record in this case, which showed that you abused the power and control that you had over the lives of women you professed to love dearly.
Defense attorneys.
So I want to speak on that real quick in terms of, and this is why I think this whole case is Let's get a good picture going on here. So I think this whole case is kind of weird. So the thing is this. So the people who were involved, the people that they were having sex with, these people were being paid, and it was like they had gigolos. They had people who were actual sex workers doing what they normally do. So that's what I'm saying. It's so weird to me. How can it be a crime to pay someone to do what they normally do? So the people who are involved in the freak offs, they're not victims. They're just people who are getting paid to have sex. And they're always getting paid to have sex. So all these people got paid to do what they would normally do, but somehow in this context they're victims. Now, of course, I think that violence that was caught on tape, you know, the beating that he put on Cassie on tape, I think now that's really valid. That's domestic violence. That's him attacking a woman, right? But as far as the people who were involved in this kind of stuff, all these people were compensated and they were willing to do it. Like he wasn't kidnapping anyone or holding anyone against their will. People weren't forced to have sex, okay? Like they wanted to be there. Not only that, again, they was paying their bills. So how can a gigolo be a victim of a sexual encounter that he was paid to be or be a part of? You understand? So that's why I'm like, this is like what's going on here, you know? And again, it proves the point or everyone's theory on why this seems to be just a soft lynching. Because again, he's not coming home to no bread, right? And he may get out early. So as far as we understand, obviously his lawyers are going to appeal it. I mean, who knows? He's probably going to be like, if Diddy thought that he was going to go home free, because reportedly Diddy actually was planning to have a speaking engagement next week. So he must have been told something. Someone told him that he was going to go home. Someone, because like you were only, because this is a high profile case. Unless you was absolutely sure, you would never make those kind of plans unless you knew for sure you were going home. They thought for sure he was going home, and that's why we know this is those white boys humbling you. This is what they call. I don't like repeating this kind of fucking some hater shit, but yo, a Negro wake up call. This is what power really is, right? And this is one of the things. I think this is also a lot. This is actually what feminism is also meant to do. It's meant to be something that can always be used. So no matter how far you go in life, how successful you are, it's feminism made to where a woman can always be your downfall at any turn. If you try to be a good husband, for the most part, you'll be punished for trying to be a good husband, because as soon as she wants to divorce you, yo, she's entitled to money. If you make more than her, she's entitled to money. Coach Greg tells a story about like, yo, the judge really awarded his ex-wife with half his income. He was only making $50,000 a year. What you said led to him living in his car. When men have a substantial amount of their income taken away, or their ability to work and earn and be able to take advantage of opportunities is taken away, again, that is akin to destroying him, akin to killing him, okay, akin to lynching him. They have made sure that we know. Pardon. Diddy is a freak bull to the point where he want to have freak offs. I ain't gonna lie, it sounds like some demonic shit, and this baby oil shit is weird. I ain't gonna hold you. I don't. There's nothing pleasurable about having baby oil involved in any kind of relations. It's a slippery slope. All right, it's slippery. You know what I'm saying?
That was good though. Peace, man. Kick rocks.
I'm a decent man from the city of demons. Niggas be scheming.
What's up?
Niggas be shooting.
Okay. No matter what, you must take the righteous path as much as you can. You must have righteous ideals and goals that you want to accomplish. That's why having the spiritual aspect of your life mapped out, where you're involved in some kind of a group, association, some kind of entity, not just you on your own, just trying to figure shit out. Talking about you a decent man.
I'm a decent man from the city of demons.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta do more than be a decent man. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, shit, man.
Goddamn, baby, got Diddy.
Got Diddy. God damn it. All right, man. So let's get into this David dude. So I want to get into this David guy because I've been thinking a lot about how when men don't have a clear idea of what being masculine is, right? You don't really have, I feel like you don't have the same morals, and you don't have the same awareness of the implications of your actions, or whenever men make it a point to say, you know what, I'm not going to even try to be manly. I'm not going to be assertive. Actually, I saw a post for Andrew Tate the other day. Matter of fact, I'm going to pull it up right now. And he made a really good point about wanting our young people to be individuals to the point where we're not able to pass anything on through them, where we're not able to live through them in the future. You know what I'm saying? When I say live through them, basically that there's not going to be any piece of you left in the world, because we encourage our young people to always reject tradition. Oh, like don't try to learn. Basically, don't try to learn from the past, because your decision making is largely affected by your ability to learn. I realize right now, that's why I teach my son. Is teach him how to learn and helping him to learn, because the more that I'm helping him learn, the more that, you know, he's able to fix his own problems, the more he's able to pick up on things. Because all you got to keep doing is keep raising someone's awareness higher and higher and higher. But I wanted to play this clip from Beloved real quick.
Some moron said to me, Andrew, what would you do if your sons don't end up like you? As if that's even possible. I am my father, they are my children, they are me. How can they not be me? They have only been born to continue the Tate dynasty. That's why they exist. Yeah, but maybe they want to do other things. Want? Who is talking about want? There is duty, there is honor, there's things they must do. Who asks children what they want? Children don't want to do anything important. You must show them via discipline. You must make them understand that some things are more important than their wants. That's how they grow into an amazing person. So then this clown said to me, well, so you're just having sons to be just like you? That's the only reason you want them? Yeah, basically. I mean, I'm not going to live forever. Love is my link to the future. Primarily, I want versions of me to exist, to leave a mark on the planet. How gay must you be to not want to leave a mark on Earth? Think about that mindset. You have a finite number of human years. You are going to die. That is guaranteed. There are people.
That's the main thing I wanted to get to when he said, how gay, right? Matter of fact, let me see, make sure, where am I at? Let's leave this up for a second. So, the thing is, hold on. First of all, it's the perfect time. It's the perfect time.
I snap my fingers. You forget that you're ever gay.
I was never gay.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, no, stop.
Yes.
Whether you ninjas realize it or not, being as though every TV show, every movie, or more than ever, every TV show, every movie includes a homosexual character or a character that falls under the LGBTQ plus spectrum, right? Their ideals and their ways of thinking and basically the way that they cross boundaries, the way that they mix things up, I could say, it has an impact on people. And men don't kind of realize that the more that you carry yourself in a feminine way, the more that you adopt things that women, like for example, the bonnet shit. Listen, I'm not saying you a bitch ass nigga, but at the end of the day, if you are a grown man putting a bonnet on and you look in the mirror and don't see anything wrong with putting on the same thing, that not only that, it looks feminine. It's like a feminine looking thing. It's not like you don't know. This is something that old ladies put on their head. You're putting on like, and not only that, the way you niggas hold your neck and hold your face when you got the bonnet on. You don't know how close you are to me to just socking you in the head. Don't ever, if you were my friend, you ever put a bonnet on, we're done. It's over. It's over.
You can't. I was never gay.
Nah, man.
Donations. If I snap my fingers, you forget that you're ever gay.
But the point being is that when you are a man, when you don't have a warrior spirit, part of being a man is having a warrior spirit. Part of having a warrior spirit is that you look and resemble someone who could be a warrior, meaning that you should look like you could get busy. You should look like you can hurt a man. All right. The more that you look like you can hurt a man, the more masculine you appear. You're supposed to be assertive. You're supposed to have your hair cut in a certain way, in a way that makes a woman know that's a man I'm looking at. The more that your body shape, right? The more that your facial expression, your facial hair, your hair, everything. Whenever men have long hair, bro, that makes you look more feminine, no matter what. Right? Not only that, whenever men have dyed hair, that makes you look more feminine, no matter what. Right? And not only that, the clothes you put on, like for example, right? I'll be realizing like, damn, I haven't worn my suit jackets in a long time. And I'll be forgetting how good I used to feel putting on like my pants and my suit jacket and going somewhere. And how it looks and everything, and how I come across, and basically how my presentation is now different. Not only that, the way I'm carrying myself is now different because of the clothes. How we dress, how we wear our hair, what we think looks good, right? So, I'm saying it's because of just the aesthetic of this guy right here that we're about to get into. He represents the kind of male that grows up with no desire to be manly, with no desire to be the head of household, no desire to be the king, no desire to come across like a man. This is someone who was, for one, living in perpetual childhood and perpetual fantasy. And I guess we could say it's a good thing or a bad thing that he was able to become successful with his music to the point where he was able to, like, no, this guy's doing sold out shows. And I realized, like, damn, I saw a quote the other day online about, it was someone saying that you're not going to gaslight me into thinking that this D4vid person didn't exist before a couple of weeks ago. And for people that's in my age range, if you're between 30 and 45, you really wouldn't know who this guy is. And, like, know what, that makes sense because this guy is 22 years old. He's a young, you're not his demographic, right? But part of it is the fact that we're all on the same internet. And it's so crazy. The internet is so big that someone could be famous to the point where he's famous too, and you still don't know who they are. But let's get to the first clip.
Troubling new details in the case involving popular recording artist D4vid. The Los Angeles County Medical Examiner says a body found inside a Tesla registered in the singer's name has now been identified as Celeste Rivas, a 15-year-old girl.
That's what we doing right now.
More than a year. Police made the grisly discovery last Monday, saying the Tesla had been abandoned in the Hollywood Hills.
It was banged up and kept moving from one place to other place within a couple of blocks from here.
Workers at this tow yard.
So the first thing to get into is the fact that it's the age of this girl. Matter of fact, let's bring it back a little bit so you can see her face. So this is the girl who was in the car. So she had been missing for a year, and CGA made an important observation about the experience that a lot of young girls have, especially if you come from a poor family and everything, and especially people who come from other countries. You gotta understand that in third world countries and very poor countries, it is very normal for the countries to, for the parents to be pimping the daughter out. I've heard stories where guys talk about meeting up with a girl. Let's say it's in a different country. Let's say it's in Brazil, right? He's meeting up with a girl and they linking up, saying to have a little, have a little intimacy and whatnot, right? And while he's with her, he can see that her dad's hitting her up, asking her, "Did you get paid yet?" I'm saying, "Did you get the money yet?" Because he needs some money. You understand? And they know what the daughter's going over there to do. Like, so I understand. Another issue with having a lot of illegals in the country is that you gotta, if in their mind they think it's okay to come into a country and take advantage of the resources, all while not going through the proper channels and everything, and understanding that it is illegal. You are committing a crime, right? You gotta understand that it speaks to what they think is okay and what's not okay. If they think that's okay, what else do they think is okay? And in third world countries, the regard for murder, ideas around the appropriate age and whatnot. And another point I've heard is people have this fantasy that when young girls turn 18, that's when they become curious about intimacy. That's when they start having a desire for intimacy and everything, to the point where I don't understand how this comes about. But the role that masculinity plays in this whole thing is the fact that they had about a 11-year age difference. So he was, no, I'm lying. No, I believe he was 17 when they met, and she was 11. So he started out as someone who streamed playing Fortnite online. He kept getting copyright claims, so his mother encouraged him to make his own music. And he started playing his own music during his shows and everything, and people started really liking it. And then from there, he created a whole demand for his music, right? And that's how he became the D4vid that we know today. So this whole time, could have found out she was kind of always with him. So from the time she was 11 until about 14 years old, this is basically seemingly his girlfriend. But I want to let this story play a little bit more.
15-year-old girl who had been missing for more than a year. Police made the grisly discovery last Monday, saying the Tesla had been abandoned in the Hollywood Hills.
It was banged up and kept moving from one place to other place within a couple of blocks from here.
Workers at this tow yard noticed an odor coming from the front trunk, which turned out to be decomposing remains. There's no official word yet as to how the teenager died. According to the medical examiner, Rivas had a tattoo on her index finger reading "shh." While that tattoo is not uncommon with several performers, David has the same tattoo in the same location.
Yo, you see the jewelry he has on? That is female jewelry. The more that men do not try to be manly, appear masculine, you become a chaotic individual. Okay? I'm gonna play another disturbing video.
The singer has amassed a substantial following with 33 million monthly Spotify listeners. He spoke about his rise to stardom last year with our Lindsay Davis.
The success has kind of been quite literally overnight, so it's kind of hard to kind of be in the moment sometimes, but I'm just taking it in slowly, appreciating it.
Overnight, his concert in Seattle was abruptly canceled. He still has not commented on the case, and he has not been charged with any crime.
A lot of people are going to be asking the very obvious question of, why hasn't David been brought in at least for questioning? Law enforcement doesn't have the answers they want in order to be able to confront or question David, especially without an autopsy report as to the cause and manner of death.
And the medical examiner says they are still trying to determine the cause and also the timing of this teenager's death and whether this was potentially a murder. The sources also say that investigators want to find out if there was any sort of relationship between this teenage girl and David.
All right, Brad.
New details in the case involving...
Shut up, Brad. Quiet down, Brad. So, this is David, right? And again, I understand that, you know, he can't help what he looked like and stuff like that, but I don't know, man. I have a thing about seeing like niggas with whack faces making it. All right. Another thing too is the way that y'all conduct yourselves, the way y'all carry yourselves and whatnot. Y'all niggas could have never been popping in our era. Like, our rappers were just way more masculine, right? And this was way tougher. Not only that, you just wouldn't be caught up in some shit like this. This is fucking crazy. Like CGA phrased this as this is the crime of the century. You understand? Because it's a big whodunit. Because listen, there's a possibility that he didn't actually do it. Because you understand that is crazy that the body was in his car, but he has not been brought in, and more than likely because of the nature of how it came about. Now he is a suspect, but if he has been brought in, there's more to this case probably. But what was disturbing, and the main thing I want to get into was this whole age gap, right? And why he thought this was okay. So, well, I'm going to play a quick video. I thought it was quite interesting. And it basically talks about, it's a compilation of all these videos that he posted, all right? And the title is There Were No Signs.
Right? What the fuck was I thinking? Like I was gonna be in a relationship? I'm a fucking psycho. That's why I'm good at what I do.
Me watching her scream after I poured boiling water on her after she told a boy happy birthday because we made it another year. Motherfuckers, when I start is this? Oh, that's not him. Hold on, who is this? My bad, y'all. I will play it anyway. Motherfuckers, when I start acting mentally ill after I told them I'm mentally ill. Oh, okay. So like these were his reposts. I guess he was posting this. All right, so it's a repost. So basically, these were reposts on his TikTok. Or things that he identified with, right? This one says, damn, I wish I wasn't so insecure. I wish I could live a quiet life, but I be hearing voices. So if you guys don't know, if you ever hear someone talking about hearing voices, that's a symptom of schizophrenia. where that person like literally hears people speaking in their head, and they don't have control over it. And usually that voice is telling them to do bad things, and it's really like it's like a demon. Like I don't know. I might believe in demons. I'm not really sure, but I might believe in it though, right? I watched the video the other day, and I'll go ahead and start bringing it home now. I watched the video the other day, and I think this is what I'm going to say about this topic here with this guy David, right? I watched the video with my man Bricks Fitness on. He's an excellent content creator, inspiration to me, most definitely. I think he does amazing lifestyle content. And he was speaking on his relationship, his new relationship, and he said this is the most healthy relationship I've ever had. Now, I want to get more in depth with this, right? Because I want to get into, it's not that he's wrong. It's just that it's not something that should be promoted to young men because it's not helpful. He talked about basically not having to put up a front or wear a mask, right? And the thing is, people who say stuff like that are individuals who usually have an issue with their own authenticity. A symptom of poor mental health is not being confident in who you are and your ability to exist, meaning that you're always questioning your identity. You're always questioning who you are. You're always needing to redefine yourself. You always need to make a change, or seemingly needing to try to fix yourself. I think one of the things that drives people to veganism and shit like that, and other these alternative practices, is that you get this obsession of fixing yourself rather than having more of a dedication to discipline, i.e., your relationship to discipline. Like even this right here, it's to the point where I know that I get more views doing my short videos, but I have to keep working on my craft every single day, being consistent every day. Because I want to be a better content creator. I want to make sure that I'm really cooking. Make sure that ain't no gaps, ain't no stutters, ain't none of that shit, right? I'm more focused now. I'm built more better now. You understand? But Bricks was talking about this so-called healthy relationship, and I'm not saying that it's not a healthy relationship, but again, in his mind, what he was saying is that he's able to be more honest about his problems and whatnot. The best thing to do for men in general is, for one, you need support from other men. All right? She does not need to know the specifics. All she needs to know is what's the next move and what you need her to do. When you talk about things, it needs to be plan oriented. If you're talking about a problem, it's more so, babe, I need you to do X, Y, and Z. This is going on. Don't ever make it seem as though you don't know what's going on or that you're scared or you're afraid. All right? Because it creates a feeling of instability for the woman and whatnot, and then it changes our dynamic. The same way you don't want her to gain weight, you don't want to feel comfortable gaining weight like that, right? Men will tolerate it, but if you had a choice, you wouldn't rather her not gain weight. You would rather her comply with you. You rather her cooperate with you. You rather her, just be a good woman, right? You don't want, the more that she does not stray from these things, the better the dynamic of the relationship is. But if she decides, okay, well, I don't have to do this, I don't have to do that, which is also what leads to men being miserable in relationships to begin with, is women literally thinking, I don't have to, or it's not a big deal if I don't. And this is another thing that's just a natural behavior or pattern with women, is basically the chaos, the opposite of order, saying, well, today I'm doing this. I'm going here today. I'm doing this today. I'm saying this today. I feel like this today. So I think encouraging men to embrace their feelings in an unguided way, I'll put it like that, in a way where you're not taking accountability, where there's no plan. I took a workshop a long time ago. One of the ways you help people is by giving them the plan. Let's say, step 1 is this, step 2 is this, step 3 is this, step 4 is this, and rinse and repeat and keep it going. You understand? And what can happen is, the more you get into your own feelings, the more you get into your emotions and whatnot, there's no end to it. And then that becomes the definition of who you are, and then you become obsessed with them. Because you become obsessed with the stimulation that they give. Like at times, I found myself, I had to realize, okay, you had to stop thinking about these certain things because you start getting caught up in the stimulation of the thoughts of that past event and what came along with it. But anyway, we an hour and 10 minutes in and whatnot. We're going to go ahead and call it quits for tonight, but
Goddamn, nigga, got Diddy. I used to look.
All right, man, we got it, man. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, man. Love y'all. I'm just saying,
someone needs a place that.
Peace.